Hello, family. Welcome back to another Peggy Talk. This is our weekly girl talk, girl chat, or family chat, rather, because we have several men in the group and we love when you guys include your input. So today we have another letter and I'm going to read it to you. I'm not going to paraphrase this time like I did last week. I'm going to read to you word for word how she wrote it, because I don't want to go back and say, oh, she said this too, and oh, she said that too. So I'm just going to start reading the letters word for word. It's pretty lengthy, but they have to be lengthy when they're including all the information, right? And so I want to let you guys know that we are still accepting new letters. You can send them to this email address that Donald will place ever so gently along the bottom line of the screen. No name will ever be read. We won't let people know who you are. So every week it'll be an anonymous letter. Next week will be a little different. Next week we're going to have a platform for people to call in. We're going to try that because we had several people asking if we could do like a call in where people could give their advice. I already have the letter. Now, if she wants to tell it, she can, or I could read from the letter. And this was perfect timing because it has to do with Thanksgiving and family and stuff like that. It's a little different, and I thought this would be a perfect opportunity for us to do a call in. So on Wednesday morning, if you're interested in calling in, we're going to put that number on the community board. We're going to put the number on the community board before noon on Wednesday, so that'll give you time to write the number down so you'll have it and you can call in. But we won't do it before Wednesday, okay? But anyway, I think that'll be good. And if that works out, maybe we could do our Wednesday like a live where, the person can be there to answer any questions that we may want to ask about what's going on. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and dive right into this question. Like I say, it's pretty lengthy, but I want to read it word for word so you'll get exactly what she's saying. And then after I read the letter, we're going to add Donald in so that we could get the male perspective. You guys were amazing last week, and I thank you for it. Really good advice. All right? So let's go ahead and get into the letter. I have to take my glasses off to read. She goes to say, "Good morning, Peggy and Don. Thank you for starting Peggy Talks. I have a situation that I could really use an objective opinion. It is fine to discuss this as a topic for further input. My ex-husband and I met right out of high school. We dated, had 2 children together before we legally married. He cheated on me, we separated, came back together. During the separation, he fathered a child with another woman. I forgave him and I stayed. He had problems with alcohol, prescription drugs, marijuana. I made it clear I was not happy with it and he needed to change. He tried and we did, which is why I accepted his proposal for a marriage. We married and had our 3rd child. Then our 4th child. We have 1 girl and 3 boys. He slowly began to backslide and eventually cheated again. I had gone away on a trip to Pennsylvania with 2 of our children because our daughter was a child model. Upon coming home, I noticed he was acting very strange. I knew something was up and I asked him, "What's wrong?" After 3 days, not eating or sleeping, he finally admitted that he had cheated again with the other child's mother while I was away. Our son had become ill that weekend with him, so that made him feel worse because he felt that was his punishment for his infidelity. He felt if he hadn't been off doing what he was doing, our son wouldn't have gotten sick. I was devastated. I really believed he'd turn a new leaf. I told him then I wanted a divorce. After talking to family members and seeking counsel from a pastor, we decided to hold off. There is so much more to this story, but I will try to be brief. We also had a lot of interference from my mother, who hated him with a passion, and his brother, who was a serial cheater and baby maker. My mother is an abusive, tyrannical narcissist who took it as a challenge to always try to manipulate me to get one up on him. His brother, on the other hand, was always telling him he needed him to teach me lessons by cheating. When our families weren't involved, we did well. It was when he spent time with his brother that things would always go wrong. That would cause problems at home, which I would try to get advice from my mother. It took years to see what was happening. So after the last cheat, we decided maybe a change was needed. We moved. We moved to another state, and that was the biggest mistake. A week after we moved, I received a call from my mother that we had been approved for a house that we had been trying to get. I took it more as manipulation to get us to move back. I told her I wasn't going to pack up again and go back. We just got here. I surely figured it was another manipulation tactic because she knew people who could make things happen faster. Nothing was moving until we moved. I was also accepted into nursing school, but planned to transfer. The plan was for me to be a stay-at-home mom, but my ex's actions made me realize I needed a backup plan. Not even 6 months we moved to this new state where his relatives lived. He began acting up again. Long story short, he cheated again. I had warned him if he cheated again, I would file for a divorce. Well, our marriage began to break down with the loss of communication. We were pretty much roommates. He would tell lies to friends and family about me that I didn't find out until after the divorce. He stalked me and pleaded with me not to go through with the divorce. I asked him to stop seeing the woman that he was seeing, seek help and spiritual counsel. For real this time, but he refused. I divorced him. He continued to stalk me, had his friends keep tabs on me for 1.5 years. He even moved into the apartment on the next street where he could see our house from the empty lot behind it. That's when I decided to pack up the children, which he messed up that relationship too, and move back to my home state. I sought help via the right channels and was able to do so under order of protection to keep my whereabouts safe. His family found me on Facebook 1 year later and would tell me how devastated he was, yada, yada, yada. Said he was not the same since we left and such. I would not come out of hiding. 3 more years later, I was contacted by his other child via Facebook, the one that resulted from his infidelity during our separation. She told me of my ex-mother-in-law's decline in health and that they think she wouldn't make it. Said how she wanted to see me and the kids. We did love her dearly, so I agreed to take the kids to see her before she passes. I made it very clear I did not want to see my ex. She made it clear I do not want to see my ex. After telling them, they agreed. My protection order expired and I felt safe, so we went to see her. Lo and behold, we arrived. She's home looking just fine. She's home looking just fine. I knew then I had been bamboozled. 5 minutes later, I hear lots of whisperings and I look out the window. Here comes my ex-husband. When he came in, our kids lost it. They wanted nothing to do with him, and our eldest son just cried. He refused to be consoled. Seeing the reaction of our children, his mother broke down and cried. Then the rest of the family became so apologetic. They said they didn't realize. His mother then came and apologized to me. I told them all, I told you, but none of you listened to me. I told you he wasn't telling the truth of what was going on. His niece pulled me to the side and said she was so sorry they lied to us. They believed him and she guessed you never know what's going on behind closed doors. I told her she was right about that. So the visit got better. I found out later the mother-in-law was really ill, just not on her deathbed like they led me to believe. Realizing she wasn't doing too well, I agreed to bring the kids back another time for a visit. I came back 2 more times, and both times I saw they were setting it up to leave me and the ex alone to talk in hopes of working things out. Now, I won't say I was a saint in the relationship. We both had our flaws, but I didn't deserve what he did. I was not a bad wife or mother. I am an amazing mother, and I was a faithful, dutiful wife. The most conflict came when I told him he needed to get a real job. He would squander the house finances on stupid stuff his brother was talking him into buying. Kids needed clothes for school, but he'd spend it on busted car parts. The time apart gave him time to reflect on what I did wrong in the marriage, what I could have done differently. At the time, I knew I did not want to jump back in a relationship with him. I didn't even feel the same. I told him to focus on building a relationship with our children. Do that first because they deserve to be treated better by him. Well, my children still wanted nothing to do with him. When he came to visit them, they would ask me if I wanted to go along. I declined and told them to enjoy the time they have with him. They were doing fine. When he called, they didn't want to speak with him. Eventually, the call stopped. I didn't want to get back together, so I had nothing to say either. Now, he has one sister that I am, to this day, still very close with. We lost contact shortly after those visits because she ended up in a hellish marriage of her own. She reached out to me on Facebook a few years later. Once one family member saw my name pop up, his niece being the first to find me, the whole clan requested me and they reached out. His sister and I spent time chatting on the phone, catching up. Then she filled me in on my ex, said he had not been the same since the contact started years ago. Well, the contact stopped years ago. He was always the life of the party, always out and about, helping people, in touch with his family. He also worked out and took pride in his appearance. She and the others who contacted me said since then he's been more of a recluse. He didn't work out, he doesn't talk to anyone, doesn't go anywhere, and he talks about me constantly. She said, never is there a conversation where he didn't talk about me and what a good woman I am. They all say he speaks highly of me to anyone that will listen. After reconnecting with his sister, my daughter, then 29 years old, decided she wanted to reach out to him. She did call him and it went very well. She then went with her half-sister to surprise him, and he was beside himself. My daughter then came and told me that his apartment was like a shrine of our life when we were together. She said he had little trinkets of theirs from when they were little on display. She also took a picture of a large vintage sewing machine, the one that is connected to its table. I asked her, wow, that's a beautiful machine. Your father sews? She laughed, looked at me like, duh. Then says, no, Mom, you know what that is. You know why he has that. I sew. I used to sew all my children's clothes and pajamas. I would also make special occasion clothing for my kids. I also made the flower girl dresses for his sister's wedding. I just looked at her and said, oh, then she continued to tell me, same thing everybody else tells me, how much he talks about me, how much he loves me, and how much he misses me. Still, I did not reach out to him. His sister tried and tried to tell me how much he's still in love with me. I would just say, oh, wow, really? I didn't leave the conversation on and then told her I'd rather not hear about him. Of course, she tried now and then. So maybe you're wondering, why not allow him to reach out? It's been all these years, he's still in love with me. Well, there is one catch. You see, just before his sister reached out to me on Facebook, his niece sent me a friend request. She was just a kid when we broke up. She was always so sweet and loved me, so I accepted her request. They also sent the request to my children. Only my daughter accepted the request. Soon after my daughter started posting angry posts, which was unlike her. When I asked her about them, she said they were nothing. Later, I would find out that it's because she learned that her father remarried. Yeah, he married a woman he walked out on us for. Yep, he married the woman he walked out on us for. Rumor has it that he found out just days after the wedding that his niece and sisters were in contact with me, said he was not well. Since then, he tried to get messages to me via his sister. I did not reach out to him until January of this year. Our son and his girlfriend welcomed our first grandbaby into the world. I simply sent him a message with a picture congratulating him because we're officially grandparents. He sent back voice messages where I could hear his voice was very shaky. He was very nervous and excited to hear the news. He wanted to keep the conversation going, but I kept it brief. I told him I just thought he should know and see what our grandbaby looks like. Our son is very private and doesn't share pictures on social media. He also doesn't have contact with anyone on that side of the family, so that's why I sent it. Besides, I was excited about being a grandparent. I didn't contact him after that and didn't lead anything on in the conversation with his sister. 2 months later, I get a call. I answered the phone and was shocked to hear his voice on the end of the line. He and our eldest son have the same name. I also just finished texting our son, so when I saw the name come up, I automatically assumed that it was my son. He started off with pleasantries and then on to memories of back in the day. I then told him that was a long time ago. He then began to profess his love for me still. He goes on about how we are soulmates, how not one day goes by he doesn't still think of me. He keeps telling me he loves me and he wants to see me. I'm shocked on the other end. Not knowing how to respond, I stay silent. He then says, I love you, T. I love you. You can ask anyone. Even my wife knows. You can ask her. She'll tell you she's sitting right here. I said, what? He then said, yeah, she's sitting right here. I don't care. I'll say it in front of her. I love you, T. I love you. I then said, I don't want to talk to her. Why would I want to talk to her? He then quickly realized that wasn't the smartest thing to say and then says, okay, I'm sorry, and quickly changes the subject. He begins to whisper, that's when we talk later. And that's when I stop him. I cut the call there and tell him to take care. So that's my story. I have mixed feelings on the matter. I will not be sneaking phone calls and such with a married man. My question is it really love or an elaborate act that lasted years? What do you think of his actions? Everyone is trying to convince me that he only married her because he felt like he would never see us again. My daughter asked him why he married her, and he told our daughter because he's been with her so long off and on, he figured he might as well. I don't understand that at all. In my mind, I'm like, well, if he loved me so much, why didn't he fight for us? Why would he marry that woman? Which he still has his own separate apartment too. So that's another thing I don't get. I haven't remarried. I just wanted to nurture our children to become loving, compassionate, productive, and successful adults. His family and even my mother thought I was holding out for him to come back. My mother even said to me one day, and I'm paraphrasing because I can't remember her words exactly, that sometimes you can't help who you love. And if that's what you both really want, then you should go for it. It's okay. Not that I would need her permission, but I told her I was fine. I'm single by choice. The events leading up to the divorce were so painful, I needed time to heal. A long time. I'm fine now and will date when I meet the right guy. When my daughter told me of her chats with him, she tells me he was just too scared. She said he's embarrassed and ashamed because the truth came out of how he left us. She said she could tell he suffered. I don't know, Peggy and Don. I just don't know. I forgave him years ago. I wish him the very best in his life. I just don't know if I'm willing to believe he loves me. Maybe he loves the idea of us. If there is all this love, why would he marry that woman? Perhaps you can give me an objective point of view. I'd love to hear your thoughts and perhaps others who may hear my story. Oh, by the way, I hadn't contacted him, but he requested me on Facebook. I had accepted his request and he kept posting videos from the time we were together with messages that he cares for me. Why don't I care for him? Love stories and such. Since he is indeed married, I blocked him. Thanks again for your time. Blessings, my friend. Sending hugs. P.S. No names, right? Never any names. So I told you guys it's a lot because people have to really pour their heart out or, let you know what they're feeling. So it can be a long letter, right? So I'm going to ask Donald to join us. I've read this letter like 2 or 3 times. I needed to marinate, let that thing marinate down in my spirit so I could answer honestly. So we're going to have Brother Don come on in.
Hey, what's up, fam? Thanks for having me, babe.
You're welcome. Come on in, baby.
I love these discussions. It's going to be interesting. I can't wait to see what your take is on it.
No, you go first. You're the guest. The guests always go first. Because I love to get Donald's opinions on stuff. Because sometimes I think, he ain't going to say the right thing. And he always amazes me with his answers.
There were several really, really stark points that grabbed my attention in this letter. His family was trying to keep them together. I feel like the outside people was trying to keep the marriage and the relationship together more than he was, in fact, because especially his brother who was encouraging him to teach her a lesson and everything like that. But so that's something that Peggy and I have warned against, about allowing family to get involved in your relationship. That's one point. I feel like I said, I'm not trying to be too hard. I'm gonna make sure I say this correctly. I think you have entertained his nostalgia enough. I think you may have even entertained it a little too much where he thinks he still has hope. If you don't feel like you're going to, or that the relationship is worth saving, I think it might be time to give him some hard truths and stuff. Another point that really, really stood out to me was the mother saying that you can't help who you fall in love with. Now, Peggy and I are soulmates, and I'm gonna tell you this. This is a firm belief of mine. I do not believe that soulmates are found. I believe soulmates are created. So the idea that you can't help who you fall in love with, I think you can. I think it's when you find somebody who treats you the way you deserve to be treated and feels a need in your life, and you're willing to open up to them and share with them, and they're willing to do the same, you grow closer together. That, I did not see any evidence of that. Now, of course, there was, I'm sure there's probably a lot of physical attraction early on, but I feel like this person, the ex, was not able to make a commitment, and now that he has gotten older and even got married, he's not even committed to his current wife. He's not a person who commits. So why would you want that kind of person back into your life? I feel like you're inviting chaos in, and I'm hopeful that, hey, of course, as always, the decision is yours, but I do not believe, and I believe you feel that way too, that this might not be the person who is somebody you can commit to long term.
That was good.
That was good? Okay.
That was good.
That's about all I have right now. I love to hear what you say, yeah.
Okay. So, sis.
I like this. You come to as a friend. That's how a friend would sit you down and talk to you.
Exactly. I'm your best friend at this point because clearly these people are trying to set you up. Now, first of all, the whole damn family ain't nothing but liars, right? They all liars. They set you up, sis. They set you up. They got you over there thinking mom about to die and she gonna go along with it too. Them not your people. Them not your people. But I get it. I get it because you have history with these people, and that's all it is. You have history with these people. Where were they at when y'all was suffering? All these people reaching out to you, sis, he love you, he don't do nothing, talking about no, ma'am. Where was y'all at when I needed the help? Now I don't need you. Ma'am, you deserve so much better. Do not, I repeat, do not go back to this man. We could be friends. That's all we could be. We could be friends. I don't even want to be your friend at this point because I said it last time. You teach people how to treat you. This guy has cheated not once, not twice, not three. And look, he willing to cheat on a new wife with you.
Yeah.
He telling her, you know I still love her. Girl, bye. Don't fall for that. We're not doing that. That's what we're not going to do. Because he trying to play you, sis. He think you simple. You ain't simple. I can tell by your letter. You're an intelligent person. I know your kids want a relationship. They want you to have a relationship with dad. Okay, when I see you at a function, that's the only time I should see you. If maybe a grandchild is having a graduation or something, I'll see you there and we'll say our highs and goodbyes. That's all we're going to do. This man is for the streets. Look how he treating his current wife. You know what you went through. And it could be a little flattering for people to say, oh, he still loved you, girl. You know, you the only one that he really ever loved. He only married her. Listen, he only married her because he couldn't get back with you. That ain't why he did it, but that's what he wants you to believe. Yeah. Don't fall for it, sis. Don't fall for it. I don't trust none of them. I wouldn't have never accepted any of their friend requests. And then his sister's supposed to be your friend, because guess what? If you was my friend, I'd be like, girl, you hear him talking, right? And that's all he doing is talking. Leave my brother alone because he ain't about that life. The man don't have the whole family, though. That's what's getting me. The entire family is willing to lie, cheat, and steal to get you with him. And I don't know what all you've done for him. You know what I'm saying? Like you went to nursing school, so they figure, and I'm just talking, if she deal with him, we don't have to.
Maybe.
Because that's what I'm getting from this letter. Don't believe the hype. Do not believe the hype. This man is not going to change. He is not going to change. He cheated on you. He going to cheat on her. Then man, you had outside babies and I gave you an opportunity. I gave you another chance and you still cheated. You will not be given another opportunity to disrespect me. It's over.
You always told me from the very beginning, when somebody shows you who they are,
you better believe them.
Believe them. When they show you who they are, this person has showed you at least 5 times that I've counted. He showed you who he was 5 times. You gotta believe him eventually.
Yeah. No, you just believe him. That's who he is. I would hope that you wouldn't. Y'all don't need to be friends. This dude, he living in the past. I don't know. Like, he may have cleaned up his act. Kudos to you, brother. I'm glad because, as we get older, we should clean up our act. We should do better. But that doesn't mean y'all need to be together.
No.
And, you say people feel like you held out in hopes that y'all will get back together. You got to have bigger dreams than that, sis. Yeah. You got to have it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
I'm like, what? Last week was like, well, it's your decision. You feel like maybe there's something still there. Yeah. This one seems a little bit more cut and dry.
Yeah.
Look at that.
It's cut and dry.
It's a little more cut and dry. And I would never tell them what they have to do, but I would, under the strongest terms, if somebody really cares about you and wants what's best for you and your children, I hope they will come to you and help you to realize this could be a disastrous decision. Yeah. It does sound good to find out that somebody loves you eternally, who says that kind of thing, who really wants to be with you and can never let you go. It feels good, but that's not worth the possible damage that it can do to your current situation.
Man, let's talk about your son. Has he repaired that relationship?
Yeah.
Has he repaired that? Like, you trying to get at me? No, get at your children. Has he fixed the relationship with the children? That's my concern. I don't care about you and I, because that don't have nothing to do with anything. How do your sons feel? Right. Like, did he fix that? Because that's my only concern is the children at this point. You don't get to play me again. You don't get to be disrespectful. And then he disrespecting his wife, and somebody silly will be like, girl, he be talking about me all in front of my friends. All in front of his wife, talking about he still love me. Love don't hurt. He don't care what he doing. You know what I'm saying? That man don't care about he don't care about nobody or nothing.
Yeah.
That man care about himself. As long as his needs are met, he's selfish.
Yeah.
Right? So I would hope, again, we can't tell you what to do. We cannot. You never said if he got counseling or what. You never said it. He separated from his current wife, and now he wants you to come over and be the girlfriend. You don't get all that. He's wasting enough of your time, enough of your energy.
There you go.
Leave him or move on. There is somebody else who will treat you like you're supposed to be treated. Yeah. He don't deserve another chance. I'm sorry. I can't even say, well, do what you do, sis, and, hopefully you make the right decisions. You already know what the right decision is. You already know. Yeah, we could be cordial, like you say, you forgave him. That's the biggest thing out of the whole thing. Out of all the stuff he did, how he treated you, how he treated the children, how when y'all relationship ended, he ended being a father to your children. You know how he abruptly left and then had the nerve to marry the side chick. You don't get that. See, to me, this is how I operate past relationships. The things that you did to me, I'm going to bring that up front. Because you're going to know what you did to me. Has he ever apologized? Yeah, he's sitting around with memoirs. He's sitting up hugging a book, crying in the corner. I wish. No, sir. You don't get to do that again. So, sis, pick yourself up. Wipe yourself off. It was cool talking to you. He wouldn't have got no friend request. As soon as I saw his name pop up on my friend request, I'd have deleted my Facebook app because you don't get to play in my face like that. So, I'm saying no because you asked. I'm saying no.
And it's not love. You hear the question like, is this love? That's not love. That is dependency. That is a need. He's searching for so what's missing. Realize that he might have already had it and screwed it up. But if he gets it back, he's still gonna be searching for something. Now he's gonna be searching for the next hole to fill. No pun intended. But he's looking for the next. Whatever it is in his life and his heart that he's looking for, he's going to continue looking for that until he thinks he can find it. But what he needs to realize, he got to fix himself first. Yeah. And so,
that's what I'm saying. He hasn't repaired the things that needed to be repaired. Yeah. He hasn't repaired the relationship with the children. Has he gotten himself some help? Yeah. Has he gotten? Is his brother still around and in his ear? Because y'all get back together, then here come old brother and everything else. But I'm just telling you, I would not trust that family as far as I could pick them up as a group and throw them. You know you can't do it. I don't trust them. I didn't like that. I didn't like how they set you up like that. And then you telling them, I don't want to see him. Because what if this man had ill intentions towards you? If I can't have you, nobody can. Now he got you all hemmed up. What you gonna do? Ain't nothing you could do. Then you, sis, you went when your protection order was expired. Ooh, baby. You don't know what people's mental are. You see it all the time. You never said he was a domestic violence type person. You just said he was a cheater. But, when people act like he acts, I don't trust that. I don't know what you haven't been with this man in years. You don't know, okay, because I always think about it. You see this stuff on TV all the time. If I can't have a nobody will. Because that's where I would have went with it immediately. And then they going to let him just show up like he's some kind of prize. No, we're not doing that. My mind goes to all kind of places with this letter because it was a lot. I appreciate you writing us, and I hope that we've maybe added something to your life. And I know the people will come down in the comment section and give you their opinions as well. But I'm talking to you as your best friend. Sound like we're about the same age. I'm talking to you as I'm your best friend, your sis, your auntie, somebody. He don't deserve you. You can say what you want to say about mom, but mom was on it, baby. She had her reasons. Yeah. Because you couldn't include everything in there. She had her reasons. Parents don't want to see our kids hurt and broke, disgusted, and, they don't want to see that. They want to see you happy and prosperous and all the things. But this guy, he wasn't the one. He wasn't. And Yeah, serve that family with a long handled spoon. Leave them where they were. His sister is not
Like
your
that.
friend. His sister is not your friend.
Yeah.
So, yeah, even if you talk to her, you've asked her not to bring him up. She keep bringing him up. They want you to take care of this dude is what they want. Because then if you're doing it, they don't have to do it. But anyway, okay, I've said enough.
No, you good.
Around the circle 2 or 3 times. So good luck to you, and don't forget to go down in those comments, because I would love to hear what the other men have to say about the situation.
What everybody has to say, exactly.
I really would, but men particularly.
Yeah.
Men particularly, but because
We
all
know
the
the
women
game we
coming,
see. Yeah.
all the women are coming, and we're gonna tell you the same thing. No, sis, that
Yeah.
that ain't the business.
Yeah.
Okay, so you be well, and God bless you.
Damn.
And I pray that you meet Mr. Right. You know, God knows the desires of your heart. If that's where you want to go with it, if you want to be remarried again, God knows the desires of your heart. You deserve better.
Thank you for being willing to share your story as well. There's probably nobody out there going through the exact same thing you're going through, but very similar circumstances. Maybe follow a whole bunch of people out there, and so maybe you just need a little push and give them something to think about. So we appreciate your willingness to share your story with us and to Peggy's viewers.
Yes. To Peggy's
To
viewers.
Peggy's viewers. Y'all see I changed the background a little bit. There you go. Look at that.
All right, go on, play.
It's not as Star Wars, but I'm still wearing a t-shirt. Maybe I'll wear a collar shirt next week when we're doing this again.
Yeah. Well, next week is going to be a call-in.
Okay.
And so we're going to try our hand at that to see how that works out. So remember to look under the community tab. Next Wednesday, I'll put the number up by 12 o'clock for you to call in. And we will go live at about 6 Central Standard Time. We'll put it with the number. We'll tell you what time we'll start taking call-ins, because I got to get me a few moderators, because we can't help who comes through. And, you know, if somebody is out there trolling, we want to be able to get those off the
I'll be
line
glad to
immediately.
moderate. I can sit off camera and do some moderation.
You want to be okay?
Yeah,
You want to do moderation?
I'll be glad to just be reading through the comments, make sure nobody gets out of hand and stuff like that.
Okay, player.
So yeah, that could be my
So
job.
next week we're gonna try that, but yeah, next week's topic should be pretty good. It'll be pretty interesting. It won't be so heavy, but it should be not fun, but you know, it should just be different. So until next time, family, I'm gonna call y'all back.
All right.
All right, fam.